deep down, we kind of, in our human nature, we secretly want a clear answer. We want the information. We want to know what the way is or what the answer is.
Well, I got the answer.
Oh, you do?
I got the answer.
The answer to what?
The answer to forward momentum, to progress. Second I say that with certainty, like right there, I got you.
What is success to you, Eric?
Demand. Success has a lot of demand because demand is often what created the success in the first place. Success is demand. It's demand for you. It's the demand for your products and services. It's demand, it's demand, it's demand. And so the first thing I would look at if I'm trying to work on someone getting successful is, do you have demand? And that begs the bigger question. Do you provide value? Do you have value that people want? And most people in life have no demand. They're not moving the needle anywhere.
I think a lot of success comes down to spiritual growth and surrendering the temptation to indulge your animal nature in favor of your mental, spiritual nature.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Eric Rock here and Matt Lachlan coming to you live from the studio for Man on a Mission. We had a guest today that got sick and canceled, so we were going to fill the airwaves with a little bit of Eric and a little bit of Matt. Right?
A little spice here, a little salt and pepper.
A little salt and pepper, a little spice, a little hot tamales.
Yeah.
Little sugar on there also, a little cherry on top, and whipped cream, sprinkles.
We're going to beat the heck out of ideas. So we haven't said anything yet.
Yeah, we haven't. So what is the topic? You always got to pick a topic. You're doing a podcast, you don't have a guest. You just got to throw something out there sometimes if you're going to try to make it about you. We're not going to make this about Matt or myself, but we got to turn it to a topic. One thing that I heard recently, Matt, and actually this has seemed to be a little bit trending on my end, is for people that are very well known, like Alex Hormozi types, I'll just give you a name.
A killer in the marketplace.
Yeah, and he'll come out and say something controversial on a topic that gained a lot of headway at some point in the past. And I'll give you an example. Make your bed. This whole concept of making your bed. Yep. We all have seen the video. The video with the admiral, he comes out and he talks about making your bed. You'll have a victory in the day. Blah blah. And just And that moved everyone. That was one of the most viral watched videos that's ever been produced, ever in the history of the world.
Let's watch it again, the brief clip.
Yeah.
Let's just watch it.
But real quick, before I show it, the point that I think is interesting is then you have a person like Alex just pop out and just decimate it in one breath. That's bullshit. Again, now, we could dive into it. Why don't we watch the video first?
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement.
You get the point. And I will say though, like instantly I'm sucked into this video. I totally understand it. I'm believing in it. I'm cheering it on. This is correct. And a year or two goes by, right? And this is something that's sort of been embedded all of us. So many people got behind it. It's good. And then all of a sudden, and I've seen this over and over and over again, you'll have a figure or a powerful voice like Alex Hormozi come out and say, that's bullshit. I don't make my bed.
Yeah, morning routines mean
that
nothing.
Doesn't mean that's garbage.
What he says.
Well, maybe he's not fully saying that. I'd love to chop this up. There was actually another, and this goes directly against me, another famous influencer that came out and said rules are garbage. I mean, it might as well have been Alex. It doesn't really matter. I have a lot of respect for Alex. I think he's one of the most brilliant minds that exists today, especially for social media. His ability to create sticky clips that are virally and ride the momentum of one of the most genius minds that's out there.
He hooks human nature, something in your human nature is hooked.
Yeah, he's got the little strips on his nose during the day,
He says
he works in a lot of different ways for a lot of different reasons. But he says something like that, and you'll get all of a sudden the sheep. He's right. Making your bed doesn't matter. And I just gotta sometimes I step up and I'm like, even with I was going with an earlier point. I have rules, these 34 rules that I live and die by. Like, they're more of like just triggers and like connections to me that connect me to periods of times when I overcame humps of where scar tissue became sort of normalized in my life, and then I called a rule or something that I was frequent enough.
A pattern.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's like the makeup of things that work for me to fail forward. But then you'll have someone come along and say rules are garbage. You should never live your life by rules. You know, I heard it more recently too. And the instinct, even in you, is to question yourself, to say, oh, I might, maybe that is stupid, or the instinct of the masses is just to clamor along and instantly agree with that person, not knowing that this person, it doesn't even really matter whether they believe it or not, or whether their life actually resembles the bigger point behind the message of the bed. There is one, by the way.
Yeah.
It really has nothing to do with making your bed, but it's so easy to attack the bed as the thing that's stupid. And to get all these people to just jump over to one side in a second without really thinking about it, even for a split second, and agree. And to make this poor guy look like an idiot. Like, that's the sentiment. That naturally is what's happening. To me, it's genius marketing. To always take something that's easy to attack, that got a lot of momentum, and call it stupid.
Yeah.
It's genius marketing. It's a headline that goes against the grain, that's cutty, and we're kind of doing it right now by addressing this. Because I'm going back the opposite way, and I'm standing with the Admiral. Fucking make your bed. And I don't make my bed, but my bed's always made, and it's crucial. Orderliness in my home, I don't give a fuck if it's the maid. If it doesn't matter. It was me for years. My wife is the same way as me. She will not have the bed made. It is literally it's a representation of her value as a woman. Is making sure her house is in order, every detail of it.
There's a lot of angles too that take your living space, whatever space you're in, reflects the nature of your mind.
Yeah.
And people take that strong position. It's an old idea long before social media, just like from an Eastern Buddhist kind of standpoint. Your environment, your room, literally is a reflection of how clear-minded you are, or how free and open. Yeah. And if you have a cluttered environment, your environment's cluttered. It's a lot of people have different temperaments. There's a strong correlation though. If you notice the rhythm of your life, if you're feeling a little off, chances are, I bet your environment is a little off. So if I have kids running around doing a million things. If I have a couple items in my truck, like a basketball's rolling around, an empty sparkling water bottle, and then I go into my office and there's unopened bills, if it's getting a little into the chaos domain, it usually reflects that I'm a little off.
Sure. And I guarantee making a bed does not really matter to necessarily making money.
Not in a literal
sense.
But
it's more of a metaphor for things when you're talking about the masses, or you're talking literally the masses or children. Like, you've got to connect to certain disciplines every day before you can expect to do this discipline. Yeah. And that was his point. But then you got a guy that comes in and he obliterates the whole thing. Everyone else they think they're so smart and they instantly align with this. I'm like, yeah, I've always thought that. You'll get that sentiment so quickly. And it does. It completely disengages the point behind this person who probably has so many morals, standards, and convictions, who's been through a lot, who's seen so much in young men, so many untapped potentials. Yeah. And it's always the little things that don't seemingly have any value that people like this place value on. And to me, that is the true difference maker. It's in the small standards that the next guy overlooks. Often becomes the connection to how their real life is. If there's chaos in your bed, there's likely chaos in your frickin' life, in your business, your employment.
It's
period.
Even to go back to your point on the brilliance of the marketing. So here's one, and I admire. How can you not admire Alex Hormozi and his accomplishments? But he said something that, and it hooked me because I was like, that's so. I just didn't like it, and it makes me actually follow him more because I didn't like this one aspect. He was on some podcast and he was talking about how he and his wife had a dog. And, you have to take a dog. You have to care for the dog. You have to make sure it piddles and pees. And he said something effective. Basically, we got rid of the dog because it was inefficient.
There you go.
And I love how sticky that is. And he's aware of how sticky he is, but he's so obsessed with success that he gets rid of a dog. And for me, the initial flush that I got was like, bro, living well is is something far greater than accomplishments. And then I got fired up with him. I'm talking to people like, I'd rather have a dog and be broke. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a kitty cat on my lap and a cup of tea and a Bible than all the damn accomplishments of Alex Hormozi. But what was interesting about that is it hooked me. He's a kind man. He has structured values.
And maybe that came off wrong, or it doesn't really matter. The point
he was
is
just honest.
The point is I think that for him, this whole thing is a game.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. He's free in it.
And you got to take everything with a grain of salt. And there's no one formula. There's no one secret. There's this one video is not saying the whole thing. One Alex video is not saying the whole thing, but it's just playing with people's emotions. Like everyone's yo-yo-y.
Well, and it's playing with this.
They're up and they're down. They're all around.
You brought a great thought. Like it's playing with this notion that deep down, we kind of, in our human nature, we secretly want a clear answer. We want the information. We want to know what the way is or what the answer is.
Well, I got the answer.
Oh, you do?
I got the fucking answer.
The answer to what?
The answer to forward momentum, to progress.
Okay, deliver it. So that we'll play on the listeners right now because Eric's about to tell you.
Yeah, the second I say that, you get the point though.
Yeah.
Second I say that with certainty.
Yeah, people
making
sit
your bed's
up.
bullshit.
People sit up.
And I'm telling you right now, looking at the camera right now, making a bed has nothing to fucking do with ownership, has nothing to do with success and wealth creation, has nothing to do with persuasion. It has nothing to do with the art of selling.
Or a good marriage or anything.
Nothing. It's a lie told to the masses. Like right there, I got you.
Yeah,
I win.
Yeah,
And this guy loses. This poor admiral loses.
You've just hooked 20 minutes of the listener.
I sold you. It's done. You're an idiot. If you believe this shit, you're such a fucking fool.
Yeah, I mean,
you get my point?
It's interesting. I think so. In our human nature, we're seeking to know. It's from one piece of information to the next, and you're sourcing it out, and you're obsessing over it, and you're looking for the next thing, and you're hooked, and you're hooked, and you're hooked, and it's consumption. It's consumption. It's consumption. It's more books and more reading and more information, and somehow looking for the thing that's going to get you to just jump in the fire and the flame. Yeah,
there isn't any one thing. Number one, and it doesn't exist.
And people, one thing that I'll get hooked into it and get into debates here and there on social media, but very, very infrequently. And I'm always sort of amazed at let's say the masses or people's human nature. They get hooked into the juice of having an opinion about something. So if Alex lays this out, it just pulls thousands of people in the comments.
And everyone agrees. They agree so strongly with him. And you know what? He's right. And you know what? This admiral's right also.
Yeah.
There's right in all kinds of things where there's discipline in places that don't seemingly matter. And it's the same disciplines that you put into the art of making money and becoming successful by his standards, by Alex Hormozi's standards, are the same things that are valuable for countless different people that create success by this admiral standards. Like it's all relative and any of it can be articulated. I can build strong bullet points around all of it. And I can convince you and persuade you through the art of selling that he's right, Alex is right, anyone's right. My certainty on any one subject will get you, and then someone will come challenge me, and then all of a sudden that person who's certain in that moment, so the sheep move back, and the sheep move back, and they keep moving, and they're moving. Like this admiral could come out and look Alex Hormozi right in the face and challenge him, and he's going to get a whole wave of people that get behind his back.
Yeah.
Like it's just people moving, and this whole thing's a game. Probably to him, probably to Alex, it's a game. They're winning and laughing all the way to the bank as they play consumers over and over and over again with their emotions, getting them to jump and move. And banter. Yeah. You know what I mean?
To getting fired up to defend a position you have about
the
something.
main point really is just action. It's bold action, but there's things that are in common with people that have high standards. Most high standard people, their beds are somehow made. And they were probably doing it at a young age. And at some point, they probably bought their time back and their time became valuable. But even if they're not buying their time back, because that'll be the argument, right? Well, I guarantee there's some beautiful person in a family that has a standard high enough to say, hey, make your bed, little girl or little boy. You know what I mean? When you're talking to your children. Well, if you're going to be the person saying that, most likely somehow, some way, like maybe mommy made the bed, maybe daddy made the bed. Like maybe it's more in my wife's temperament to make the bed, and it's more in my temperament to pick up the dog poop. Or maybe it's more in her temperament to do the dishes, and it's more in my temperament, to blow off the patio. But I guarantee this, in my house, the beds are always made no matter what. Like you think I'm going to walk into a fucking beautiful bedroom looking at the lake, like all my dream home, and have some sloppy ass bed with dirty sheets? No, everything in my house smells amazing, and it's not bragging. It's the standards we set. And even when I was broke and had nothing, my house was orderly. It smelled good. I prided myself on the one thing I could control, and that was cleanliness and orderliness. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't a sloppy pig, and it reflects now on how I live my life.
Yeah, I think one thing in our human nature, people who are highly successful, this is throughout history, you'll notice the great sages, accomplished titans, everybody wants to know what they're like in ordinary circumstances. So like, the Winston Churchills, the people who like contribute a great deal to the world, thousands upon thousands of us in our human nature, we're like, well, what did they, little things like matter. Did they make their bed? How did they communicate to their spouse? What did they do behind scenes with their friends?
Yeah, and there's no one way, but I guarantee you'll see patterns based on personalities and temperaments.
Yeah, and because we're yearning for something. It's like, even like, faith-filled things like Jesus Christ, like, the world over has scoured everything he's said in the Gospels and all the historical accounts. Yeah. Take someone contemporary like that you admire. It's our human. I'm intrigued by this. Our human nature. We want to know everything about the person.
Yeah.
What is that?
For sure.
Because we know there is a quality. There's something contributing to their success that we sense.
Well, I think first you have to define what success is. First, you have to come up with a real good definition for success, and then really start looking at the qualities and the characteristics of the people that have success and what is common that you see. It won't be, you're going to see a hoarder, some really rich person that's a hoarder, when you're going to be disgusted.
So they have monetary success.
They may have piss-soaked rugs in the house because there's dogs everywhere that go unfeathered, and that may be a one-off. But like when you go into Beverly Hills and you look at the average $20 million home, like go tell me how those homes look and feel.
19 out of 20 are going to be
so orderly and perfect. Everything has a place. Everything is well thought out, because I think success has an obsessive quality to it.
What is like?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Take a breath, man, because this is the kind of question like
we have to.
I want you to try to answer it. I'm just curious. You can throw it back to me. What is success to you, Eric?
There's all sorts of words that come to mind for me to define successful, and I could think success in general that everyone could agree with. My success might be a little different of what I would look at as a successful life. But if you're first looking at what the masses see as success, I'll use a word that probably wouldn't be the first word people would think of when you looked at success from the masses standpoint.
Yeah.
But it's a word beneath the surface that's probably true to how the masses perceive success. And there's probably a lot of truth to it as well. And the first word I'll come up with, that's not necessarily my standard metric for it, but probably is, and also in alignment with a little bit, is the word demand. Success has a lot of demand because demand is often what created the success in the first place. Like things that are successful have lots of demand around them. And to create success, you have to create a lot of demand.
And if you are successful, the fruit of it will be there's tons of demand.
Demand. Success is demand. It's demand for you. It's the demand for your products and services. It's demand. And so the first thing I would look at if I'm trying to work on someone getting successful is, do you have demand? And that begs the bigger question. Do you provide value? Do you have value that people want? Are people yearning for something you offer?
Yeah.
Period. And how much of that? Then it's the next question. Well, how much of that do they yearn? Is that scalable? Is that yearning scalable? Because what if you're meeting the demand of what you can offer the world? Well, if there's more demand than supply, that's a good problem. But it begs the next question. How do you meet the demand? So that's a really practical way to think about success is just through one word, demand.
Yeah.
Period. And most people in life have no demand. They don't. They have no demand. It's petty. Their demands are petty.
Yeah.
They're plagued by gossip and shitty conversations.
Not in demand.
No, they're not moving the needle anywhere. No, they're trading their time for money. It's pathetic. And I say with all due respect, because I lived through this. I was this. But it's really petty and pathetic to think about how people use their time. They're not doing what they love. They squander it. They gossip. They talk shit. They're always in fights. It's really built into society. Even some of the most popular like TV shows, like reality TV shows, like they are plagued with just, it's like they're selling to the masses. I don't even know if that shit's true, how petty and pathetic people can be. Like I'm watching this show. I was with Dan Martell. Did I tell you this?
Yeah.
And
Well, I know you were just with
He
him.
was saying one of his secrets, like that he doesn't tell anyone, which I guess I,
Sorry, Dan.
but I'm going to say, because I think I've heard him say this in public before. And if not, like this will only help his demand.
Yeah, right.
I'm helping you, Dan.
Yeah.
Is one of his like secret, what's it called when it's like a secret, like not desire of yours. There's a phrase for this. Like that no one knows about.
Secret wishes, fantasy wishes,
No, there's like a phrase for this. Like it's a secret that no one knows about.
I don't know the word you're getting.
He coined it this way he phrased this.
Yeah, what is it?
But is that he will watch with his wife all the like Real Housewives shows.
He'll what's the phrase? I know what you're talking about.
Say it out loud, producer.
Guilty
Guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
His secret guilty pleasure is watching like on Netflix, like Selling Sunset, Selling the OC. And this is Dan Martell. This is like a tech genius.
Yeah.
Like a
He's
brilliant
watching,
mind.
like the soap operas of today.
He can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
He loves it.
It's guilty pleasures. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and
human
if you ever watch one of these shows, which I know you don't, Matt, you're well too smart and distinguished. You ever watch
fritter my time in more sophisticated ways.
It is best way to describe it.
Like
It is very uncomfortable, toxic, painful gossip. It is a circulating, revolving door of hell of just shit talking at every level. And if a guy like me watches it, I like orderliness. And like, how can you run a business with this many women that are crazy as fuck? Like, how do we how do we keep these women and get them orderly? Because none of them are working together. Who's ever running this team's a fucking moron. I'm thinking of one show in particular that I've watched, and I love it because for years I would study real estate and trends in homes. I love the finer things in life. We sold some of the most expensive furniture out there, like our core retail business being furniture. Like I would think about trends and design. And so when I would look at a show, I'm not caring about the people. Yeah. I'm looking at what they're wearing, the trends, like thinking about how I can grow my business and elevate it. Because oftentimes the people that send trends in furniture and design and architecture, they come out of this Hollywood hellhole.
Well, it's good business sense to understand human nature.
Yeah, a lot of how I could communicate to my customers was because I was savvy enough to be able to be watching and have an eye on things that matter. Exactly. But you can't help but notice the chaos that ensues on these shows. Now, is that real? I would beg to conclude that is closer to reality than we'll ever have a clue. But people like us, mindsets like us, don't surround ourselves with that. But
Dan proves the point, like, because I admire him so much and he's so incredibly successful.
He's hooked on it.
Like the paradox of humanity and his guilty pleasure, as is so many people have. If you read their biographies of figures you admire.
Yeah. Well, I have it too, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I don't watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I watch enough of it to get it, and it makes me cringe.
To not be oblivious
but
to
you keep watching the train wreck happen. It literally is like watching someone about to go into a car wreck and die, and you can't stop, but you're watching it.
Yeah,
even though that sounds morbid and sick.
No, but that's
these women are train wrecks. They're beautiful, like disgusting train wrecks.
Yeah.
They have all their fancy clothes and all their expensive designer stuff. They seem so out of touch with reality, so out of touch with pain, so disconnected with the things that really move the needle in life and matter. All they do is care about money and how they look and their fake tits and all the bullshit. And they argue all fucking day. And they stab each other in the back constantly. And they get told secrets. And then they're not supposed to tell anybody, but they go tell their secrets to the person they weren't supposed to tell them to. And they create drama and they stir the pot. And it's chaotic and it's nonsense. And this can't be real. But this is a reality TV show in Hollywood with supposedly some of the wealthiest people in real estate. You're connected to some of the most influential, like, people in the world. The people that these people are selling real estate for are savvy billionaires. I mean, some of these shows on homes on these shows are $100 million asking price.
Yeah.
And like, this is a world of shit. That's not success to me.
No.
This is garbage shit, bullshit, like wasting time, pathetic. Now, do they play for the camera? Maybe. Is this all a ruse?
This is old. This is old though. Shakespeare,
is it gimmicky?
And this is part of human nature. In India, if you read writings from like Hindus in India, they'd go to the women coming to the water well, and and just how gossip would be rampant. It's just human nature. It's not women of India, or it's not even women. It's men also. But
do you think this is common in the average person's world?
Here's what I think. I think if you look at the totality of humanity, there are levels to this, and the majority live a certain reality. And I mean, you just look at the world. A lot of people live a very primitive reality. They're worried about, and many, given their circumstances, they're for whatever mysterious reason, God, karma, whatever it might be, they're born into poverty. So if you just look at the raw humanity and what's on the average person's mind, I think it's base and survival instinct base. And as you go up the food chain, people. The higher you go, the more rarefied the air. So at like 10,000 feet, there might be 80 billion people or 8 million people. At 20,000 feet, there's a few 100,000. And you talk about this a lot too. Like the higher you advance, there's less people there. Their values tend to be higher, I believe. I mean, there's the scoundrels and the lucky ones that are.
Well, and again, touching that point, a lot of people down here will think that the people that are rare in life, they got there by cheating. They got there by being frauds. Like, I have a different experience with people that have high demand.
No,
they're amazing
they're
people.
Not,
I disagree.
I would flip it. I agree with you.
Are not
9 out of 10.
scoundrels.
Yeah, you
the
can't.
reason there's so much value for them because they're valuable.
People detect.
They know how to deal with people.
Totally, especially if they attract not the base. If they attract good people.
Yeah. But then you see these shows with all these ritzy people. And it's like, you know what they may be doing? They're just playing to the sheep.
There's a Freudian word for this.
It may be fake. Like that might be fake as fuck.
God, yeah. They know.
They're just, because who could act like that?
That sells, man. Like,
it does sell.
Drama, gossip, sell. I mean, think of in our own personal lives
would that show be interesting?
How easy it is to get hooked into gossipy kvetching about a family member or someone in your sphere who did a thing. This is an old temptation of humanity to fritter away your time, your energy, and speak ill of someone. So I think they play, Hollywood or the media plays on the base aspects of our human nature. Yeah. Here's one thought on this. I've found in my life, like you have an aversion to, Eric. You're like, it just disgusts me. So
it's so shallow.
The more you advance, I heard the best gem from the psychiatrist, David Hawkins. He said, if you're raising a child, you want to expose them to such class and beauty and high standards. Why? When they're around the opposite, they just kind of have a disgust or aversion to it. It's profound. Like, so, if you expose your kids around really classy, beautiful, high standard people, and that's what they're used to, or they maybe have that at home. They're used to making their bed. When they all of a sudden walk into a scenario where it's the opposite, they instinctually want to go the other direction. It's not like they morally judge it. It's just like they have an aversion to the nature of the language, the whole environment. But I think those shows, out of humility, if it still plays, and those shows only exist because in our human nature we're hooked by it. So one thing I like about this topic is I think a lot of success comes down to spiritual growth and surrendering the temptation to indulge your animal nature in favor of your mental, spiritual nature. Yeah. It really comes down to that. Yeah. Your animal nature wants to stay in bed. Animals don't make their beds. God bless animals.
That's something Alex Ramosi might point out. They're going to go kill and eat.
Yeah. A tiger doesn't make its bed. I'm not a tiger, Alex.
It's bullshit. And you used a word that it was one of my favorite words. People that are class acts. Yeah. A class act makes its bed. It's a classy action to make your bed. It's just part of the process. Yeah. It's just it.
It's like, when I love it. I love it when I see old people that are dressed really well. That actually moves me. Like when I see, because you're like, they've slayed the dragons. They maybe had kids. They had businesses. They had a bankruptcy. They've been through so much. Yet at 70, I love seeing an old man. Yeah. It's weird to call 78 old man, but I'll say like an 86-year-old man. He gets up, he washes, he shaves, he dresses to the nines. There's just a dignity and class about it. You can't help but you want to be around it.
Yeah. You ever seen those videos where like viral video? Or actually, I've actually probably had the luxury of seeing this several times in person. but a sweet little man that's dolled up and a sweet little gal that's dolled up. They've been married for 50 plus years.
I love those, man.
And they're out on the town having a little dance.
That's my media cocaine. Yeah, dude, those make me cry.
I was on a cruise one time, and I remember seeing this several times, but they're out living. And they're out in the dance floor, and they're all up to the nines. Like, totally, it's all relative, man. But I guarantee those people don't have dirty beds at home.
No, there's a class. We admire that. We admire that.
Yeah, I'm imagining socks on the floor and, dirty stained sheets with God knows what.
It's true.
Like, no, you keep it shipshape. There's a reason in the military, one of the first processes they take you through is they make you make your bed. My dad used to tell me about you have to bounce a quarter off of it. And if a quarter doesn't bounce high enough, bed's not made tight enough. Yeah. Rip it apart and make you do it again.
Yeah.
I was responsible for making a bed as a child myself. And I had those kind of high standards attached to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which as a kid, it's tacky, it's weird, it's stupid. Yeah. It's like, Dad, I don't want to make the bed. Like, this is stupid. Like, as a little kid is the one that says making a bed is stupid, not the parent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if they have kids. The Hormozis, do they?
No, he's electing. If he's getting rid of his dog, it's no surprise to learn he doesn't want children. And I admire him. I'm just saying,
he's one of the most brilliant minds out there. And I love watching his content. But the point is it's so easy to move people. Like imagine sheep. Like they're not. Yeah, really
one
sheep.
thing I admire. Here's what I admire about Alex.
And they move this way together, and then you say something.
Alex could give a rip. Alex could give a rip what the sheep think. I caught him on a podcast, and he talked about his faith journey, how he went from kind of, if I recall correctly, I won't speak for you, Alex, but it was basically grew up in a Christian circle, man of faith, and he decided, he went through his position, he doesn't believe in it. And he doesn't believe in a religion or he doesn't believe in God. I think that's his position. But I admired the courage. I almost trust him more.
He speaks the truth.
I trusted him more than the overly zealous religious person, let's say, who's trying to control you and get you to see a certain way. So when he was on that podcast, I totally.
And that's why I like the bed thing, but I'm still going to have my own beliefs about it and push back because even when he said it, I'm still me, motherfucker.
And God bless you, Alex. So you're driving our podcast. And I'm going to say, people out there, get an animal, get a dog. Like Alex, reconsider. Like, if you want to live life well, get an animal, care for something that has nothing to do with your own success.
If you want to live life well, get an animal
and make a bed.
And
thank Alex Hormozi because he's one of the most successful people on the planet. So
yeah, no, he's right, and we're
great.
right.
Yeah, it's all context.
Everyone's right. I liked where we were headed with that topic about these women in Hollywood who have so much influence. I even follow one of the gals. It's interesting.
On these shows that you follow?
I follow one of the gals. She's got Chriselle. She's got 3.7 million followers. I was just checking her out online. And she seems so smart and witty, and she's always in drama. Like, and a lot of it, because she seems like the temperament that has the most probably civility somehow. But she's always in this drama, and she cuts hard. She's got a razor edge voice that cuts hard, but like, who could live in that much drama and be okay with
exhausting.
it? It makes me ask. I'm going to ask the ladies. You know what's funny? I'm going to be sharing a stage in Atlanta in December with one of the girls on that show from Selling.
Oh, fantastic! The Aspire thing.
Yeah, she's now become a public speaker, a motivational speaker. I believe. I think she speaks on some real estate stuff. Yeah. Her name's Kayla. I like Kayla. I think she's a really good person. I think all these women are awesome women.
So what's the drama point you're driving at?
These women, literally, there's no way it could be this crazy. Like, you don't know, Matt, because you don't watch it. You've never seen this. You have no idea how the disgustingness of the hatred and the debauchery. You
know what's interesting on that? I'm going to pull on Jordan Peterson on this. He has a great distinction about men and women and how ugly women can get. And his premise is this. He's like, with men, you can only get so ugly because behind every male argument is we could kill each other. So we kind of you're like, don't take it fucking too far or it's going to get physical.
I'm going to kill you.
Women don't get physical, so they have to annihilate you by character assassin gossip, fucking you over in your network. It gets uglier. But men, it goes so far, then it's like, bro, are we going to throw down or not? You know?
I didn't even tell you. So I did an interview, right? Some gal wanted to interview me. I promised her I would do the interview because she'd been after me for a really long time. And I didn't even know who it was. I didn't care. I don't have time to vet. Like, I'm not going to vet
I
things
think you
out.
meant-
I
yeah,
just did the damn
yeah,
interview.
yeah.
It was a good interview, actually. I was really impressed
Yeah.
with her questions. And I have no ill will towards anyone.
Yeah,
I don't
wonderful.
care.
Yeah.
I just love this. I always fail forward. I don't look over my shoulder. I don't need to really stress what I'm doing because I trust my message. I'm just trying to impact and expose myself to as many people as possible, right? I made this commitment in my life to step in light, so I'm doing interviews. And I do this interview, but right before the interview, I get this these thread of messages that somehow I could not ignore. There were so many of them. And it was a book this woman wrote about how evil this person would. Do not do this interview, Eric. You're going to ruin your reputation. And I asked my wife about it. I even talked to you about it.
I remember that.
And she goes, Eric, every person's going to have people that hate them. If you're going to go do interviews, you're going to have to go do them. And most likely, the people that are doing a lot are probably going to have people that hate them.
Yeah, and for the context for the viewer, the context of this, you're invited to be interviewed by one woman.
Yep.
A woman got wind of that, a different woman. And went out of her way to tell Eric how evil this podcast interviewer is.
You have no idea.
Just think of
no idea.
I had, when you told me that, it was a brief story in passing. I just felt such compassion for that poor soul who would waste her time meddling in other people's affairs.
No
like
it was literally
just
a book.
Just the dictum to mind your own damn business.
And then when I did the interview,
meddle.
she scolded me when I did the interview. And then I got another crazy long. Like you don't even know, Matt.
Yeah, there's mentally ill people
out there. And then she
there.
apologized. And the bottom line is this: I was like, someone's living rent free in your head. This is insane.
Yeah.
Like how much hatred people hold on
So
to.
what keeps people immune from this gossip or? Apparently, Dan Martell has. I love you, Dan. What keeps people from being hooked on the drama or the guilty pleasure?
I
like,
say it's a guilty pleasure. I'm always interested in like.
What keeps you from sending petty messages like that? And we have to wrap in a minute. Our producer's saying so.
What I recognize is in real success, there's all sorts of clues that are left.
Yeah.
And a lot of the clues that we keep tapping into, they actually make the connection to the bed more than you'd realize. Beneath the surface is an orderliness and obsession for detail that matter. And it's usually the details that people don't think matter that actually matter the most. According to the people that are doing what you want to do, you hear it more often in real conversations, not for this sticky stuff here, for, to try to get views and try to. But really, it's this connection to routines and systems and processes that actually mattered when
keep
you didn't
on
have
course.
money.
So you're saying that keeps you on course.
Yeah, they mattered when you didn't have money. And the fact that you have money now and that they still matter today says a hell of a lot more about your character than most people ever give credit. We just had Ben Newman on our podcast, right?
Yeah.
Great episode.
Yeah.
And then I jumped on his podcast. So I went on to his podcast. A lot of the exchange I had one-on-one with him and that me and you had with him, we're talking about this idea of the burn. The bed oftentimes is a catalyst for the burn. It's believing and doing things when no one sees that you're doing them. That somehow it's
its own reward
too.
It's its own reward. Like
well, that's what his point was.
Yeah, his point is you
already won the day. You get to come home. You did something worthwhile.
Here's what I would say.
How you know what's funny? My wife's not into personal development. She's not into any of this stuff. It's not genetic. She's quiet. She doesn't like cameras. She doesn't like pictures to be taken of her. She doesn't like the limelight. She's beautiful and has no clue how beautiful she is.
Yeah.
She's a beautiful soul inside and out. I love Jeanette.
Yeah.
I trust her instincts more than I trust mine.
Yeah.
And if the bed's not fucking made in the house, she'll have a heart attack.
Yeah. So
Like, she's a high standard woman.
She's high standards.
Super high standards.
And to answer that, I would say from my end, like not only bed making or rules like that, but if you have a passionate enough aim on how to be as a man or woman, like who you want to be or your mission.
She would be like, she would have no problem telling you how disgusted she would be with you if you're the type of person that has a sloppy, nasty bed.
Oh yeah.
It's
she
gross.
has an aversion to it.
It's just gross.
Because she values beauty and order. But the less clear you are with an aim or a value, the less you're able to turn away from these temptations to.
Well, deep down, Matt, if you walked into someone's messy bed, wouldn't it make you a little uncomfortable?
Absolutely.
In someone else's room.
That's why it's not popular, but you should be a steward of your health and appearance.
But I feel like I'm sneaking in and your wife may be like a little almost undressed in a robe that's see-through. Like I should be here watching this.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about your unmade bed.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't be in here. This is weird.
Yeah.
It's a little too close for comfort.
It's a portal to the universe. It's the weirdest thing.
It's classless. It's trashy. It's awkward and weird as fuck. But there's a connection between that and somehow when you had nothing to the connection to you that now has something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe you could just become a 100 millionaire by never making your bed. Like I'm sure there's those people out there that do that. There is no direct connection. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm sure his room is probably smelly and trashy. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that's just how he is. He's got no strips going, and that's that. But it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with his success on the world. But I'm telling you, that's not normal, the normal pathway for most people.
The real question is, how would you want to raise your kids?
That's a really good question.
That answers it for me.
Yeah.
Do you want to raise your kids making their bed or not? And that tells you the truth of the thing.
Well, there's something to that, man. You're right.
That
I
tells you the truth
I went
of the
back
thing.
to my childhood.
If Alex had a kid, he'd probably tell him to tidy his
when
room.
I was a kid, and again, my dad, he would probably poke holes in my dad and poke holes in my mom. Like, it would be so easy for him to turn the narrative on us,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
But the truth is I look at this admiral and I look at all these people that are believing that somehow orderliness and class and standards,
They're wrong, yeah.
They come down to nothing when no one sees it but you, by the way, because most people aren't going to see your bedroom except you.
Yeah.
That somehow that doesn't matter.
Well, no, the truth is the world sees it.
Well, I've always said this: the things you don't think people see,
They see it. It's picked up in your
and
aura.
the things you don't think matter, they actually matter most.
It's picked up. I believe it's. I'll wrap with this because I know our producers we're about to start another show.
11
but
minutes to our next podcast.
I believe sounds weird. I think people pick up your thoughts. They pick up your intention. That's why we had a whole thing. We all had a thing in our coaching group. Eric did this great talk on sales. And the basic idea of you really have to earnestly be taking a stand for the prospective client's future highest good.
Yes.
And those that do sell well, those that don't, it's picked up no matter what you say. So same with the bed thing, how your inner life, your private life is read by all.
Yeah, somehow.
Something.
You know, we should do it. We're having a podcast guest here now, 10 minutes coming on. So we need to get ready for the next show. It's a girl. We should ask
Shamina,
her opinion, who's a successful woman, just killing it out there.
Oh, let's
slaying it.
ask her about this.
Just curious to ask. Just go ask real people in the marketplace who are winning, not Alex from Mosley's, but just go ask real people about the importance of making your bed. And I guarantee you're going to find an overwhelming response
Let's ask her.
from people that win. And then if you go down to the projects or whatever, to the trailer park, don't matter, and you ask these people about making their bed, and you're going to get your fucking answer. It'll be clear as day from the people that win in life and the people that don't, and their connection to making a bed. And there you go, Hermosi, period.
We love you. Thanks for the
And you're also a
inspiration.
genius.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
Thanks for watching the show. It was fun. We love bantering. We like being a little sticky.
Yeah, let us know if you enjoy it.
Controversial.
Let us know if you like this banter.
Share some stuff.
Let us know.
Help man on a mission grow. We are on a mission.
Yeah.
We're on a mission to leave a mark and inspire you to do the same.
To walk out your own
Thank you
mission.
for listening, and we'll see you next time.
God bless.
I'm a man on a mission.